Hello, my lovelies. It is Good Friday. Yay. You like the way I had to think about that? Honestly, I have to think about everything I say these days. So I hope you are all having a wonderful week. It is beautiful and sunny here, which I'm very happy about. And I was rocking out to some Sherlock Holmes parody before I got going on these lives. Actually, I already did one live, so I know a couple of our lovelies, Maria and Joe, for sure had joined us over in my other group. So yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day, and my daughter is in Japan. And I have mixed feelings on that. I know I've posted in the group, and some of you have noticed that I was mentioning she was going. And yeah, I've got mixed feelings on it. I'm excited for her. She is just over the moon excited about being there. But yeah, I have no baby running around. Baby, she's almost 16. She's really not a baby. But yeah, I'm completely on my own here. So pros and cons, pros and cons. I am getting so much done. Holy man, talk about massive productivity. And I am not eating at all. I really need to fix that. But as Elaine knows, cooking is not something I enjoy doing. And I was doing so great at actually conning my daughter into cooking because she has decided that she wants to go onto professional cooking after high school. So, she's in the foods program at high school right now, and she wants to go that path. So I'm all about, hey, you need to practice on your own, right? 3 cats, a dog. Well, yeah, okay. So I have 5 furry friends running around me, but but they don't speak, so it's kind of quiet, which actually has benefits to it as well. Just saying. But I do miss her. I miss her a lot. It's really kind of weird not having her here and not having to run off. Normally on a Friday I'm doing these Facebook Lives and I'm like freaking out about the time and stuff because I have to go and get her from school, and it's like a half-hour away that I have to drive to get her. So, so now you're stuck with me because I don't have a time limit. So, oh man, what should we go? 2, 3 hours? No, kidding. Totally kidding. Anyways, let's get on task here. So I commented and named this one websites and emails. Now, there was like I said, a couple of you were in on my last Facebook Live where I really focused on talking about websites and in particular selecting themes and that. I'm not going to do that again. And on that note, I want to make a comment here about the fact that I am actually managing a couple of different groups right now, actually several, but I'm doing Facebook Lives in 2 different groups. So there's the one I do for you guys, and in my Panoptic Foundation's Getting Going Online. And Mom could be ever so lovely and put the link to that. That'll get her scrambling to copy the URL, but she can put the link to that in the comments so that if anybody is interested, by all means, feel free to come and join that group. The Getting Going Online group is very much about technology, okay, but from the angle of creating an online presence. So that's a project that I've been working on for the last few months here, and I am getting so close to actually launching it. It's going to be a membership site that has, different training materials in it and teaching people how to develop their I just had an alarm go off on my phone. Went off at the beginning of the last one too. That'll be it now. I don't have any more until like 7 o'clock tonight, so we're good. So yeah, it's really the big focus is beginners. I will stress that. Having said that, even if you're not like a total newbie, totally feel free to come and join the group because there's always bring it on 3 hours. Nice, Maria. Don't you have to go to bed? There is always stuff that we can be learning. We don't ever stop learning when it comes to the websites. Even myself, like I was going through my last Facebook Live and explaining stuff, and something came up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to research that because I don't know why they say what they say. So there's always something to learn. So even if you're not a total newbie, still please feel free to come over if you want to join the Getting Going Online group. It's not focused on books and writing and any of that sort of stuff. I do reference authors and books because as far as the people that I'm trying to help with this whole creating an online presence, my focus is big time on authors. That's definitely one of my primaries. And then next to that are small businesses. So those are kind of the two pockets of groups of people that I tend to reference and give examples that are relevant to those. So yeah. So anybody is welcome to join it. It's a closed group, but it's open to everyone. So yeah, and really focusing on the tech side of things, how to do things, and where you can ask questions. So if you're struggling with something, I just actually noticed Facebook rolled out a change today, at least on my login. So when you're in a Facebook group, things are in different places. And seriously, it took me a second. I'm looking at the screen going, where are my members? They're missing, right? So there's just different things and stuff like that is changing all the time. So by all means, feel free to pop over there and join that group and ask questions in there regarding tech and stuff if you would like to. Don't feel obligated to. I'm still going to come and harass you over here as well, so it's all good. But I am going to touch a bit today on websites and emails. And if you are interested in knowing more detail on picking a theme and that first few steps of getting your website built or created, by all means, again, that Facebook Live, it was an hour over in the other group, quite a bit of information there. I've also got articles on my panopticfoundations.com website that you can go into and read more about different angles of getting a website going. But for today, I think really all I really want to stress on it is how important it is. Now, I think, most of the more active members in this group already have websites. I'm off the top of my head, I don't know of anybody who doesn't yet have one. So, you're kind of already working down that path. But if you don't have a website, highly recommend that you seriously consider it. And for those of you that don't, all I'm going to say is wordpress.com. All right, get started with that. Private message me, comment on this, join the stuff that I've mentioned if you want more information and some direction on getting started. But if you don't have a website, wordpress.com, that's where I highly recommend that you start. So then moving on from there, for the rest of us who do have websites, one thing I have noticed is that not everybody is set up to capture emails. And we talked last week, no, it was the week before because I didn't do one last week. Well, other than, in the van and challenging Maria to do one and Elaine. But a couple weeks ago I did one and we were talking about lead magnets. And they're getting the sort of catch name of reader magnets in the book world. Which is great, and we came up with some different ideas, and I know Joe was inputting on that, and we were chatting back and forth about some different ideas for those lead magnets or reader magnets. But one thing we didn't talk about is, how do you get their email addresses? Some of you may already have accounts set up with things like MailChimp, or there's ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, even just using the WordPress built-in, follow back feature type thing that they have where you can, enter your email address and stuff like that to at least follow the articles. So there are a few different tools out there. But I will say, if you haven't got something set up, I would highly recommend checking out Drip. And you can get to it by going to getdrip.com. So that's getdrip.com. And I have actually just recently switched over to this. In the past, I've tried a variety of different tools, including really complicated ones like Infusionsoft is a massive CRM. Without clubbing them. Infusionsoft is a massive, huge CRM and email autoresponder, and it's massive. I highly do not recommend Infusionsoft. I'm sorry, and they're a big player, and there's a ton of people using them. But their system is very expensive, and it's very complicated. And for 90% of us, we won't even use, a tenth of the tools that they have available in there. So what I love about Drip is way smaller, way more user-friendly, geared towards people like you and me, and they still have the power of some of those more advanced features without making them like so confusing, like, oh my goodness. So you can do things like, you create a list and you add people into that list, then you can segment them. So you can tag people based on certain things that they do, whether they click a link or they download something specific, or like there's lots of different triggers that you can apply. And that can get really, really handy, as you get down the road with your audiences. Yeah, drip.co, that'll get you there too. So it's really, really handy to be able to have that kind of control. And they have some really good analytics. And the best part is they're free to start. I love free. I am so all about the free. So yeah, total free account to start. And their free account does work for automation. I was so choked. I went in to finally look at MailChimp, and I'm one of those dive in and do. I'm really not good at reading instructions. So I did my whole dive in and do, and I'm setting stuff up, and yeah, this is pretty good, and this is easy to use, and I'm ticking along, and I'm like, okay, now let's do this. I want to test it. Send me a PDF, I want my lead magnet. Yeah, on their free account, their automation does not work. You have to manually trigger stuff. So I'm sorry, that is a deal breaker, game changer. I need to be able to start with a system for free and test out a fully functioning, and not just on a trial basis. Sure, their MailChimp is free up to 2,000 subscribers, but frankly, without the automation, it's useless. There is no point in having an email autoresponder system if it doesn't have automation. So that was one of the major reasons for me to switch over to Drip. Really, really like that. A couple other things about them that I love. They walk you through, okay? So they step you through and guide you through creating workflows. It's worth watching their little tutorial videos. They pop up and whatnot as to, okay, what is this and how do I do it and why do I need it, right? So they do those in there. And they also have email blueprints. Now, as an author, you're probably going to need to customize them more so than just, some of the online marketers that are using them. They're worded very, very well, so like for somebody who's doing like a 3-day or a 7-day email course, they've already got blueprints for those in there with the wording all laid out, and you just have to customize it and put your information in, which is really awesome. Because one of the things, despite being a writer, I suck at writing emails. Imagine that. So it's something that I've struggled with huge. So I was really thrilled to see that they had those templates available in there for you to choose from and just change out pieces and customize. And nice user interface. It's really slick to deal with and nice visually to work with. So, Drip, if you don't have an autoresponder email system and a lead capture kind of system set up on your website, highly recommend it. The other thing I really love about it is that it will work with anything. And the reason is they have 3 different options for getting forms onto your website. Now, this is awesome if you don't already have more advanced systems like Lead Pages or Thrive themes that have built-in opt-in pop-up boxes and all this kind of stuff, right? There's lots of tools that provide these things. But again, it's a needle in a haystack sometimes trying to research through them and find one that you like and find one that works properly and that's easy to use and that, so on and so on. So the thing with Drip is that they have a widget option. So if you're in a self-hosted setup with a WordPress site, they have a plugin that you can install, and then it integrates with Drip. And then when you activate their widget, it'll automatically just start popping up, and you can say where on your page you want it to show, and it does that, the kind that's the slide. So like if it's at the bottom, it'll slide up. Here, where's my camera? Slide. back here. Slide up the screen. Okay, anyways. Yeah, it's Friday. Come on, give me a break. Yeah, so they have this little widget. It'll automatically slide up. You can stylize it with your own colors. You can put an image into it, your own wording, the whole bit. So really handy that way. Then they also have an embed feature. So you can actually embed the code onto a particular page and it'll put the form right on one of your pages. And they also have a hosted version of their form. So this is especially cool. I'll admit I haven't tried the embedded version on a WordPress.com site yet. I will be doing that later. But I have tested out their hosted link. So even if the embed stuff doesn't work on some websites, you can just link to this. So you can put type your text in and say what you want to say, like, get your awesome free reader magnet here. Recommend better wording than that. Do that and then link it to this form that is hosted within Drip itself, and it'll open a new tab. It opens a new page. It's a page that you can stylize. You can pretty it up and at least get some similarity to your own website and stuff. I've just realized the comments that come through for me, because I know that the computer is lagged. So when I watch myself on the computer screen, it's not what I'm actually saying. So I need to not stop mid-sentence and respond to comments. Because when I do that, it's delayed, right? Or maybe I should still stop. I don't know. I gotta think about this now. So note to self, comments are delayed. So when you comment, I'm way past whatever you're commenting on. Okay, got it. See, we learn every day. So, wow, that threw me. I don't even know what the heck point I was on at that one. Drip, their hosted form. Yeah, so you can link to that. Anyways, all right. So the beauty with that, though, is that it doesn't matter what system you're using. You've just got the link. You can stylize it, send them over there, and everything will feed into your Drip account. Now, with their free account, it is good for up to 100 subscribers. So that's important to note. For me, that's so not a problem. On my author site, I think I have maybe 30. I might be being generous with that. So, 100, that's pretty decent. If I had 100 subscribers, I'd be okay with starting to pay for a platform after that. For those of you that already have subscribers, if you want to switch, if you want to consider flipping over to this and trying it out, still do it on the free one. Do not import your existing email lists into it at this stage of the game, right? So just hang tight on that. Work with the new setup. Get familiar with it. Get to know it. I'm all about learning on that side of things and figuring things out on a free level. So do that. And then once that, you start reaching the 100 or whatever in Drip, then you can import your existing lists over. Or if after a couple of weeks you kind of go, wow, yes, this is amazing and it's awesome and you're ready to jump in and start paying, well, hey, go for that too, right? But yeah, you can absolutely start it. And there's nothing wrong with having the two systems. Just be mindful of where you're at with that. I've gotten myself in a bit of a mess sometimes because I like to test out a lot of different things. So I'll have 6 of them going and I'm going, yeah, I have no idea which one is feeding where. So yeah, make good notes. Make good notes. Now, I was really smart because I knew this was going to happen. My phone is dying. She's so easy to distract, isn't she? Yes, Mama, I am very easy to distract. It's like, oh, look, a squirrel. And for those of you that have seen the movie, can't remember what it's called now, but it's like, point! All right, anyways, my phone. Look at this. I was smart today. I planned ahead. I charged my portable charger. I brought my cable down. I ran my battery dead, and I've just plugged it in. See? I'm getting better. Forget lots of other things, but, I remember at that point. So, that, honestly, I probably didn't need to plug it in because, yeah, Drip. That's what I wanted to share with you guys today is that if you don't have an email capture system set up, definitely look at Drip. Super easy to use. So if it's something you've been procrastinating on because you didn't know which one to go with or how to do it, definitely check out Drip. If you have one, I still recommend you check it out because you might find that it's just better than what you're using. The paid version, it is a little bit more expensive than some that are out there, but it's also cheaper than others. So I kind of like that. I'm sort of about that middle of the road type of deal. I believe they're $49 a month, and that's probably US. So yeah, I mean, it adds up. I get that. But capturing your readers' emails long term, that's gold. You know, that's really what you want to be doing, is creating that email list. It will really, really help with future releases of books and re-releases even. You know, you can do re-release parties. You get your list built up and say, hey, I got like 200 new subscribers now. I'm going to re-release my book because they might not even realize it. 41 and 83. There we go. 40, oh, I was high. Really? 41? I really thought it was 49. That may have been on paying month to month though, because they also do an annual plan, and then they tell you how much it is per month, but you have to pay it annually. I'm like, don't tell me it's $41 a month if I have to pay it all at once. That's not 41 a month. Anyway, so it's a reasonable amount, and I think it's something well worth investing in. But you can start for free. And yeah, and tie it in with your website. That's the whole point, right? So this is another reason it is so critically important that you have a website. So you have a website to communicate with your readers, to share information with them. You've seen me put up posts about blogging and what kind of content that you could be, you know, posting and whatnot from that angle, and to connect with your readers and that sort of stuff. But you need to guide them down a path, right? It's actually incredible on the internet in particular. Maybe I spend too much time online. I don't really know what it's like out in the real world anymore. You guys are my real world. So, but I do find that when it comes to stuff that's online, you really need to tell people what it is they need to do. What steps do they need to take? What's next? And it's amazing how important that is. You know, what may seem completely logical and obvious to me or you or, you know, someone else may not even occur as a thought to, you know, one of our followers or somebody who's come in and to take a look at things. So don't be shy to specifically say, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, you guys should really be spying on me, because I'm learning stuff too, and I'm putting stuff into practice. But I'm getting better at that myself, right? I never really liked to tell people to do stuff or ask people to do stuff, you know, but I'm getting better at it, and it does make a huge difference, and it's all in how you do it, right? You don't need to be salesy and pushy or aggressive or any of that kind of stuff, or spammy. You know, we all know people that fall in that category, but you still need to give the instruction, right? You need to say, hey, if you like this, then click on this link, because this link is going to give you more of what you like, is basically what it boils down to. So, and it's a piggyback, right? So you're going to have stuff on your social media. It's going to lead to more stuff on your website, and you kind of cross over. So you might post on your website first, and then share it over to your social media with a link, and then share, you know, that leads them back to your website, right? So on the back end, it might seem backwards, but on the front end, chances are a reader is going to see your social media post, and then they're going to follow that link back to your website. So then they're on your website and they're reading and they're liking. So then you want to give them suggestions of other stuff they might enjoy reading, and also give them something awesome, such as the reader magnet, and having that form for them to fill out so that you can capture their email address. So that's kind of a short and sweet kind of version of the funnel. And yeah, wow, I think I actually ran out of steam in words. That's crazy. That's like me talking nonstop for an hour and a half. You guys have only got it for half an hour in this group, but an hour in the other group. And that's the thing with Facebook Live. I mean, if people are commenting, then I can respond to that, but it's still me talking. I read the question, usually out loud, and then I answer it. So this is going to be really good for kind of kicking my habit. No, it's not kicking a habit, but my trait. What I'm known for talking nonstop, right, Mom? I'm sure you've got a smart ass comment on that. Selena my daughter, is the one that's really taken over that. She is a chatterbox. She never stops, ever. That's why it's so quiet here right now. So then I do Facebook Lives and I'm talking nonstop for hours. Anyways, I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it. And I'm also loving how you guys are jumping in. So, Maria took me up last week. It was a gong show of a Friday. I ended up having to run my brother into a last minute, into a last minute appointment, finish my sentence, now respond to my mother. Nothing like their mother. Okay, for one, Selena's your granddaughter, your grandmother. Yeah, no, we definitely get it from her. She's the hierarchy of the family here. No, matriarch of the family. Anyways, yeah, last week it was nuts. There was a planned doctor's appointment that I knew about, but then there was an unplanned one that followed on the heels of that, and that was why I was in the van when I did that little impromptu Facebook Live. So it was lovely to have Maria jump on and do one after that. And then Elaine, that one surprised me more because she already said she was in her jammies, and it's my last live video. Yeah. Yes, Joe, that's well done. You're so hit the nail with that one. But yeah, it was lovely. I was so pleased. You guys did awesome with them. And honestly, even the short ones, they're great. And that's how mine started. And now look at me. Yeah, you were in your jammies, but you know what? Totally redeemed, because you gave an awesome screenshot of that total hottie on the screen. Look at me. I don't have that going on. Like, I'm such a fail. Oh my goodness. I gotta do that. I'm gonna have to find pictures of hotties. But then, of course, all the men will be like, really? Oh, speaking, yeah, this is specifically for the guys. Specifically for the guys, because I know how much they are going to be really, really intrigued on this. I got my nails done. Yeah, I'm a smart ass. But I did. My daughter and I, before she went to Japan, we went and got our nails done. So they're short because I haven't been taking care of them, but they're purple, which is lovely. Yes, so as Pam says, Elaine, tomorrow night. And I got my question in. I totally got my question in. Took me a while. I had to think about it. There was some pretty high bar to reach on that one and come up with a good question. So I came up with 3. Thanks. It is a lush color, isn't it? It's a very, it's a dark purple. I don't usually go dark like that. I'm usually into the whole pales and stuff. Okay, Maria, thank you. Get me back on track because I'm totally off on a tangent here. Have you tried eWeber or ConvertKit? 3 questions in one. Yeah, I know, I totally snuck that in the lane. eWeber, no. Maria, I have not tried eWeber. ConvertKit, I looked very, very closely at ConvertKit. I didn't end up signing up to actually try them out. Now, the thing with ConvertKit, honestly, I've heard really good things about them. I've got a lot of people that I network with that have switched over to ConvertKit, people who are using ActiveCampaign. A lot of them switched over to ConvertKit. And I have to say, I've heard really good things about them. And they're a little bit cheaper. I think they start out at $29 a month. I'll be honest, I'm all about the free starts. So that was one of the reasons I didn't actually take the plunge and start out with them. Because the last time I had checked on them, they didn't have a free package, right? And I'm not real keen on trials. I'll be honest with that too. Like, I don't mind with certain things. I might go ahead and do a free trial. But I really, really appreciate these different tools that they put out online. I appreciate the ones that give you some free component to get started with. I think it's something that's important for all of us that are starting out. You know, we don't need all the bells and whistles, and we don't have 2,000 subscribers, right? So yeah, it's That's pretty much all I can say. Other than, like I said, I've heard really good things about ConvertKit. So I wouldn't be hesitant to say, hey, that's a good one to try if you're already using it or if it's the way you want to go. Now, eWeber, I'm actually wondering if you mean Aweber. And if you are, then definitely stay away from them. Aweber is an email autoresponder out there that I have heard nothing but bad things about. And I've actually had bad experiences myself. I didn't use them per se, but like whenever I'm dealing with stuff, of course, I always do the little digging and whatnot to see what people are using. And any of the ones that I've had troubles with, so when I've signed up for somebody's list or I've tried to get one of their freebies or something like that, the ones that I had the most problem with are the ones that are using Aweber. They do a weird thing with blocking certain email components. So like, for example, if you have my author email address is info@tanyajones.ca, and I can't use that. If somebody if their system is set up with Aweber, that email will not work. And there was this one guy I was specifically trying to get something from, and it wouldn't work, and I emailing him, and I'm like, what is going on? Then we figured it out, and then I ended up creating a Gmail account, literally for that reason alone. So, and that's just one example. There is several others out there, so I really wouldn't recommend Aweber myself. I've just heard too many problems with them, and delivery issues as well. So things just not reaching the participants. But I have heard good things about ConvertKit. As far as MailChimp, Elaine, I commented a bit on it earlier on. I don't think you were on at that point. MailChimp is decent. Okay, I can't deny that. They do have a free account, and it is good for up to 2,000 subscribers. They've also been on the scene for the longest. They're one of the long-term players. One thing that really was off-putting for me when I did try and use them is that none of their automation features are included in the free plan. And frankly, an email autoresponder system that doesn't have automation, in my opinion, is useless. Because that's really the whole thing. I mean, yes, you've got the collection of emails. That's an important thing. And yes, being able to just sort of periodically send a broadcast email, so just a sort of one-off email to the entire list, there is that, and that has value. Once you start getting into doing things a little bit more consistently and diving a little deeper with this stuff, then automation becomes really important. So if you start working with lead magnets or reader magnets, and you put together a really cool thing, and you start putting it out there and people sign up for it, you don't want to have to manually send that email to them. You want them to fill out the little box, hit the yes, please send me this button, and as soon as they've hit that, boom, it goes into your email list, it triggers the email, and boom, that email goes back to them automatically. That's the automation process. And like I said, on a new free MailChimp account, you do not get that automation. Now, I just clarified that because it is possible that if you've had a MailChimp account for a really long time, it's possible that you do have that feature. So I'm not going to, that's something you're going to have to check into yourself from that angle. But anybody who is just signing up for a MailChimp account now, automation is not included in their free account. So to me, it's pointless. Just saying. Sorry. But having said that, Aweber, yes, Maria, Aweber. So, and that's, at first I was confused when I read your eWeber, but then it sort of the light went on. I figured that's probably what you meant. So yeah, definitely, I don't recommend it. And it's pretty rare that I'm kind of that strong about, no, don't use them. But I would never recommend Aweber to anybody. I'd recommend anything else above that. Honestly, I'd probably even recommend Infusionsoft over Aweber, and that's really going a stretch. But they're really expensive, so don't go there. Deliverability is another thing that is pretty important with these emails. So, and that was actually a huge problem that I had with Infusionsoft, was that the emails were just never actually getting to the other end. They weren't going in spam, they were just never getting there. So they were just floating around in cyberspace and totally lost forever. So that's another thing that's really important with an autoresponder, and sort of keeping tabs on, like keeping your finger on the pulse type of thing, right? Making sure that things are still working well, because it can change. The game absolutely can change. So MailChimp has a really good reputation for deliverability. Again, they've been on the scene the longest. They've it's just come up that Elaine joined, so she may have actually missed all the stuff that I just said to her. Shh, don't tell her. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, MailChimp, they've been on the scene the longest. Ooh, wow, totally put my foot on a piece I shouldn't have put, sorry. Been on the scene the longest, have really good deliverability reputation. So that is one thing they've definitely, oh, okay, fair enough. So you got it. Definitely have a good reputation for deliverability, which is an important factor. So, you know, if you're going to pay for their system, then you'll get the automation built into that. ConvertKit has had really good feedback as far as their deliverability as well. ActiveCampaign has a good reputation. And then Drip, the one that I'm promoting, they're new, right? They're much newer kids on the block, which some people, that makes them nervous. You know, they're really not keen on starting it with new systems. But, you know, when I say new, I think they've been operating for like a couple of years or so now. And they are owned by Lead Pages, which they're huge. Lead Pages has been around for years, and they are actually one of the leaders in your landing pages. So, you know, a difference between just a regular web page and a landing page is that a landing page is ultra focused. There's no navigation, there's no sidebars, there's nothing on a landing page except for the one particular piece that you are talking about and the one specific call to action that you want somebody to take. That's the point of a landing page. And Lead Pages, honestly, I don't like their name. I think they cause a lot of confusion with that name. But their Lead Pages have been around the longest in that space. So that in itself, you know, they're a technology company. And that was one of the things that gave me a lot of confidence in taking a look at their email autoresponder. So I like them so far. I haven't been using them for any length of time, you know, so I can't fully speak from experience on that one, but so far they are definitely proving to be really good, and I've heard good things about them. I know a couple of really big guys in the online scene who have switched over to Drip, and the big guns don't do that with something that hasn't been proven. So that speaks volumes too. Trying to think if there's any other big players. I mean, there's tons. There's lots of different providers out there, and some of them are far more complicated than others, and some of them are built into different systems. So, you know, because of the Panoptic Foundation stuff that I'm doing and the membership site that I'm setting up, I've been spending a lot of time in the membership site space. So I've been interacting with a lot of people in that area. And yeah, the tools that you have to choose from and the things they have built into them are incredible. And a lot of them have email autoresponders built in. But the whole system would just be massive overkill for, you know, your average person, and especially for authors. You just don't need that stuff. So I think I would probably boil it down to a choice between Drip, MailChimp, and ConvertKit. Those would be the three that I would zero in on and focus on myself, with Drip being number one. And really probably for no more reason than the fact that their free account includes automation. I honestly don't have a better reason than that at this point. But all three of them, really good for deliverability, and pretty easy to use. Drip is actually a little bit less complicated than MailChimp, and MailChimp's pretty straightforward. So yeah, I think you'd be safe on any of those, so long as you got something going. Honestly, the one I started with is called Mail Poet, and it's actually a plugin for a self-hosted WordPress site, and it's free for up to 2,000 subscribers, and it is so bare bones. Like there's no frills to it, but you can do your trigger emails, so you can have somebody subscribe and it sends an email immediately to them. You can set up some automation type ones. So, yeah, having said that, that's what I use for Bookshop Bistro that isn't working right now. But honestly, it's not Mail Poet's fault. There's something's going on with the themes that I switched to, and that Bookshop Bistro is actually part of a multi-site network. So I've got like 12 websites in there, and it's the only site out of all of my sites that is having a problem. It's not posting automatically. It's not sending the weekly emails automatically. I'm really, really frustrated. So that's something on my to-do list to fix. And Drip will probably be part of that fix. But yeah, it's totally sidetracked myself there again. I'm getting tired now. So those are the three I would recommend, and having the automation, that's having that system, having a means to capture, and the Mail Poet, that's what I was saying. Sorry, totally had to talk myself around in that circle. But yeah, Mail Poet, no frills to it, no frills whatsoever. But it does the job, right? So it was a great place to start if you have a self-hosted WordPress site. It won't work on WordPress.com. So that's another option. And honestly, I probably would recommend Mail Poet for some people because it is free up to 2,000 subscribers. Again, it's got the automation built in. You can trigger that immediate email. You can set up automatic ones based on your post. So when your article goes live, you can schedule out your content in your website. When your article goes live, it triggers the email to send automatically, which is really nice. And some of these other ones, like even with MailChimp, I was struggling with that. I wasn't real keen on the way they pulled in the excerpts and stuff from my blog, right? So I don't know. I really like the way Mail Poet does that. That is something that is pretty slick with their stuff, I must say. But it, again, only for self-hosted. Okay. So yeah, pick one of them. Really, they're all very, very similar, and it's going to come down to a personal preference in many cases. But having your website, figuring out some reader magnets, and it doesn't even have to be fancy to start with. I mean, if you don't have a real great idea for a reader magnet, you don't even have to give them anything to start with. Just say, hey, stay up to date with my articles and my news and whatever have you, and you will get subscribers for that. Maybe not as many, that was all I did to start with for getting the few subscribers that I've got, and it worked. Okay, heard. Okay, I gotta read Joe's comment on here because it's longer. Hey, Weber, less the list is to grow. Yeah, haven't heard. Yeah. See, unfortunately, I've got to disagree with you on that one, Joe. I have heard a ton of bad things about Aweber, and the people who are really in the online space. Yeah, Aweber, you're right. I hadn't even thought about the fact that they've been around longer than MailChimp, but they haven't kept up with the times. Yeah. Proper download. Yeah, oh, totally agree on the proper download. Export your lists out, keep a copy, because yeah, if anything happens, if it's just in their system, then you're kind of hooped. But yeah, we're going to have to agree to disagree on that, my friend. I cannot, in all good consciousness, even begin to recommend Aweber. Sorry. All right. But yeah, it's the system, and it comes down to collection and growing, right? That's what you need to focus on, and by whatever means necessary. So long as you get the pieces in place, then you can work with that, and trial and error. You can always shift from one to another. I'm not going to say it's not a bit of a pain in the butt. Sometimes switching providers in any aspect of technology can be a chore. Yeah. You know what, Joe, you could very well be right on that side of things as far as their privacy and spam and all that sort of thing. But like I say, for example, for me, it's a huge problem when they are blocking subscribers, right? I mean, if I hadn't been diligent with some of the accounts where I really wanted to get what they were offering, they would have lost me as a subscriber, right? So Aweber has too many restrictions in that regard, and maybe users have control over that. You could well be right on that. I don't know. I never dug in deeper with it just because of the problems that I had experienced with them. So anyways, yeah. Okay, people. I have kept you on here for an hour, almost an hour. It's not really quite an hour because it was after 2 o'clock when I started. So just saying. And no, Maria, we are not going 3 hours. I have now learned that 2 hours of Facebook Lives back to back is a lot for a girl who sits in front of a computer all day. I have been stood. My space here, I'm stood. I don't have a chair back here. So, which is good though, because sitting, I don't know, I'd be lazy if I was just sitting. So yeah, I am going to let you guys go. Happy Good Friday to all of you. I had to pause on that again. And okay. Honestly, Joe, that's going way, way, way too deep. And yes, you can. I have to totally disagree with you on that one. Yes, there are government rules as far as spam and switching providers and all that sort of thing. But if you do the sliding thing, but if you have permission from your subscribers, there is absolutely no reason why you can't switch them to a new provider. So don't panic on that one. I'm disagreeing with Joe. Openly and publicly and live on air. And I still love you, Joe. Okay. But no, you absolutely can. You are allowed. Yes, you have to follow protocol. Yes, you have to have had their permission. Buying an email list from somebody and importing it into an email program is wrong. That's wrong by anybody's standards. But if you have the permission, you can. What's the other thing on that? There is another way too. For people who are really, 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 really nervous when it comes to this sort of stuff, one thing I have seen done is when you're switching email providers, you send another opt-in email, is what you would do. You can if you contact them. That's what I was just saying is another option. You don't have to contact them, Joe. If you have them on an email list, if they subscribe to your email list in the first place, and it's an active list. Now, if you've got an email list that's 3 years old and you haven't touched it or sent them or communicated with them in any way, shape, or form, yeah, now you've got a cold list, and you're right, you need to get their permission again. But if you have a live, active list of subscribers who you are continually in contact with, you do not have to get their permission again, okay? But it's not always a black and white about rules and regulations and the law and everything. You also want to look at it from an angle of what's best for your subscribers. If you're changing systems, chances are something about your style, your format, whatever, is going to change also. So it's a really polite thing to do to let them know and just say, hey, yeah, you know what, we've changed subscribers, or we've providers. We're moved you guys over here, kind of thing. So absolutely letting them know is a good idea. And there's nothing wrong with taking that extra step of precaution and sending them a new email that is like a new opt-in email. And then just explain in that email that, hey, you're changing providers and we just need you to confirm. There's actually people, in order to keep their lists clean, they are regularly, and again, this is something you can do in a system like Drip, where you have your triggers and your tags and that sort of stuff. You can automatically have emails sent out to anybody who has not opened one of your emails in like 90 days. I don't know what the parameters are. You can go 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever kind of thing. You have the control over those settings. But we'll automatically trigger an email to go to them and say, hey, you know what? We've noticed that you haven't opened any emails in the last 90 days. We just want to make sure that you do still want to get our emails. And if you do, please click this link or whatever, right? And then that tags them in your system. Send an email from the old provider to say you're changing provider and give them the option. Yeah, absolutely, Elaine. You could do that as well. Absolutely. Unless you're like me and you're using a system like Infusionsoft and you don't pre-plan canceling the account. And although you do manage to export out all of your contacts, you didn't think to send them a warning email in advance. Yeah, okay, you get the point. Planning is a really important thing. But yeah, it comes down to communication and just not being slimy. I'm sorry, there's no other way to say it, right? But if you're genuine and you're mindful about the actions that you're taking and the things that you're doing and you're staying in communication with people, it's not a problem. The problems arise with people who are shady and slimy and trying to do things that aren't, they don't have good intentions, right? They're not sending emails for your best interest. They're trying to do something they shouldn't be doing, right? That's where the problems come in. So don't be too panicky about that side of things. Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Excellent point on the saving you money as well. Because yeah, if you have a subscriber list that you're paying for by volume, yeah, that can get very expensive if you have a lot of people on that list who are never opening your emails. Why are you paying to send them an email? Yeah, so excellent point on that one. All right, so like 6 minutes ago, it's me doing math, I said I was going to wrap it up, so let's do that. So happy Good Friday, and have a wonderful weekend, and have a happy Easter for all of you who celebrate Easter. And I am going to go and put my feet up and maybe listen to some more Sherlock parody, because it's a very fun song. Oh, what is, yeah, you're right. What is the slider thing? I don't even know what the slider thing, what do I do? I don't know what I did for that. I'm sorry. I don't know what the slider thing is. I could do the nail thing again. Woo. You'll have to just explain it to me, Joe, because I don't know what the slider thing is. So, I'm really going this time, though. And when Kaz watches this, that's right. Woo! I understand now. Sorry, totally did not get that. But yeah, that was kind of fun, right? I had to get my hand just far enough away from my camera. Okay. All right. Have a lovely weekend, you guys. And when Kaz gets around to watching this, pop-up slides on the side. Okay, well, we'll go sideways then. Okay, quit distracting me, Joe. I'm trying to say goodbye. And now, Kaz, when you watch this, you got to count. How many times did I say goodbye this time? And yes, I'm up north. Have an awesome weekend. Happy Easter. And yes, lots of chocolate. Mom, totally getting that. Even though Selena's in Japan and we're delaying our Easter, I still want chocolate for my Easter. So, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Have an awesome one. We'll see you guys later. Bye.